What is going on, everybody? Z Finance After 40 here. Today we're going over Johnson & Johnson, ticker symbol JNJ, right after they got their vaccination approved for emergency use by the US FDA. Gonna go over Johnson & Johnson financials, and we're gonna find the fair value of the stock and let you know if you should buy Johnson & Johnson now based on everything, not just based on this drug approval for emergency use. So with that being said, let's get started with Johnson & Johnson stock. Yep, I'm in Yahoo Finance. Johnson & Johnson, ticker symbol JNJ, pretty green day today, almost 2% all across the board. Johnson & Johnson, let's focus on that. Price of 160, up 1.5% today on the news. Not a lot in my opinion, but you know, I need for my fair value formula that come from the book The Intelligent Investor. This number, first of all, earning per share trailing 12 months, 551. I'm gonna put this in the Excel, 551. Let's see what else we got. 1 year target 185 according to Yahoo, not according to the Buffett formula. Has a good dividend as well, 2.5%. If you're doing if you're buying Johnson & Johnson just based on the dividend without anything else, I strongly encourage you to check my description for dividend discount value just to find the fair value of Johnson & Johnson based on their dividend. The second number that I need to enter is this one, next 5 years per annual, 5.3%. That's not a lot compared to the last 5 years. So in the past 5 years they grew by, let's say, 10%, 993. And in the next 5 years, they shrunk by half and they're gonna grow by 5%, 531. That's not good. That's the Excel that I made, how to value stocks. Like Warren Buffett took this formula from the book The Intelligent Investor. You can read the 600 pages book or just grab a copy for yourself and analyze any stock that you want. Johnson & Johnson 2020, 82 billion. 2019, 82 billion. 2018, 81.5 billion, and then 2017, 76 billion. On the last 3 years, they just stagnant, stagnant. And you see, if you saw the analyst tab, the next 5 years, they're gonna grow by 5% compared to 10%, which is not good. Let's see how much they make based on the formula valuation, and let's see the numbers if I like them or not. Amazing, crazy number. The gross profit for Johnson & Johnson, 65%. Anything over 40%, Buffett is super bullish according to his valuation. The gross profit, I'm gonna check the net, but the gross profit of 65% is a lot higher than the check mark of 40%. And how you do that, you just divide gross profit by total revenue. Just shows you how much money is in this pharma industry, pharmaceutical, just insane. Let's see the net. The net, you take this number, the net income, 17.8% net, almost 20%, which is ideal, but still 18% is almost 20. Pretty massive in my book, definitely. This number, this ratio just goes to show you why Buffett holds Johnson & Johnson. Sure, he doesn't have a lot, but he have, I don't know, I think like 0.03% in his portfolio, which is like millions of shares, but still, that's what he's looking for. Over 40% gross margin and about 20% and up net margin, and 18%, I assume, for pharmaceutical industry is pretty high. Plus the 2.5% dividend could not hurt. Over the balance sheet of Johnson & Johnson, total assets, I want to see that it's growing, and you see the last 3 years it went from 152 billion to 157. That's a 3% up. And then from 157, look at this, in 2020 they finished the year with 175 billion. That's another 11-12%, something like that, gross, give or take, in the total assets, meaning that they know that they're gonna make money from the corona vaccine, and they are. Don't let this fool you. A lot of companies are making a lot of money from the corona vaccine. A lot of people are getting rich, and we are not part of those people. Retail traders, see their long-term debt, how long will it take them to pay their debt, and the Buffett ratio equals 4 or less. I'm gonna tell you what does it mean. You click here, total non-current, the long-term debt, you take this number, 32 billion, okay, and you divide it by the net income that we found in the income statement. So let's find that number. And we found a great number, 2 years, 2.2 years. It's gonna take Johnson & Johnson 2 years to pay the long-term debt. Buffett is looking for a ratio of 4 years and below. There's a reason why Johnson & Johnson is in his portfolio. He just check all the check marks before he move on to more due diligence, but still 2 years to pay their long-term debt is pretty awesome. Very impressed with Johnson & Johnson. Let's move on. Yeah, there's a Buffett is a very smart person. Let's move on. Issue of debt. I'm looking at 2020 cash flow issue of debt. Look at this number, almost $11 billion compared to nothing. 40 million, 80 million. That's crazy. It's pretty crazy. They took a debt of $11 billion. Sure, they pay almost $4 billion from all that, so they got extra $7 billion dug themselves in a hole. I assume this is government money that they won't have to pay back. Just my opinion. Extra $7 billion debt in the hole, most likely to make the corona vaccine, and I'm sure they know what they're doing and how they're gonna. On the plus side, they did a buyback, which is a good thing always to the shareholders. $3.2 billion repurchase of capital stock right here, but it's half the size of a year before, which is 6.7 billion. A year before that was 5.8 billion. A year before that was 6.3 billion. So they went down by half. So they chucked their buying back in half, and they added $7 billion in debt. Okay, just what the numbers are telling me. That's not good. Yes, it is Johnson & Johnson, the brand name. They're not gonna go bankruptcy anytime soon, but they took on more debt and they did less buybacks. And they're gonna grow by half. 5% compared to 10% the next 5 years. That's not good long term for the shareholders. That's what the numbers are telling me. Anything could happen, but the numbers don't lie. And the cash flow is 20 billion compared to 19.9 billion. Nothing changed in the positive cash flow. So I googled Johnson & Johnson corporate bond to find the last piece of my Excel. Got a couple of options. 6.7, this is like John Bong, or 2.25 is super low as well. I'm looking for something ideally in the middle. 5.5 is like no growth. 6.73. I'm gonna use this one, 3.375. Again, this is a art more than a science to find the exact fair value. You can play with the numbers, but I'm gonna go with 337. I think that's here another 337, so I'm gonna go with this Johnson & Johnson to pay corporate bond of 337 and not 673. So let's go with this number, 337, the Excel. Yeah. Back in the Excel, guys, I put the number here, the AAA bond yield of Johnson & Johnson, 337.5. Before I enter, guys, let me introduce myself real quick. My name is Ziv, also known as Finance After 40. While new to YouTube, I have about 20,000 community members following me on TikTok, as well as Patreon, where you can check below, where we sell options for income using Market Chameleon software, which you can also grab 7-day trial in the link in the description below, and of this copy of this Excel as well in the description below. A lot of good stuff. Feel free to check everything out. With that being said, let's find the fair value of Johnson & Johnson. So Johnson & Johnson, 137 bucks. Stock fair value according to this is $137. Okay, and the price that we will be a buyer is probably like 10 years ago for $92. 137. Yeah, that's how much is this? About 15% give or take from here to the downside. Just goes to show you, yes, there is vaccine, yes, there is everything, but according to this formula, Johnson & Johnson is overvalued by about 15% compared to where it should trade. And I think they trade around 138, 140 a couple of months ago, September, October, when I started to look at a position at them, which I did not take a position. Johnson & Johnson worth 137. If I bring you guys any sort of value, just a little bit of value, subscribe to my channel, hit the bell, leave a comment below which stock would you like me to analyze next, and go grab yourself a copy of this Excel as well. Thank you guys, and I will see you in the next video. Yeah.